And we're back. I need to correct a mistake I made when I gave the list of names across the bottom of the screen to the director. Totally my fault. I listed Charlie as my brother, as Charlie Jones. He's not Charlie Jones. The only Charlie Jones I ever knew worked for CBS many, many years ago, sports analyst, and from my hometown, by the way. No, his name is Biggs, Charlie Biggs, and that's totally my fault. Charlie, I apologize.
Brother of another mother, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Welcome to the family.
All right, now that we got that all straightened out, we're in financial straits. We're in trouble in Oklahoma. Our budget ain't going to make it. I saw in the Tulsa World just yesterday that the governor said, okay, kids, you got any spare property? Sell it. You got any houses? Sell them. Anything the state has title to that we can do without, sell it. That reminds me of what Arizona went through about 8 years ago. And when I passed through that state, about 2 years later, they'd even closed the roadside pull-offs, rest areas. Things were that tight. Are we headed in that direction?
Well, I think, she said be prepared for a 10% budget cut is what she told the agencies, and this is on top of cuts last year. I mean, one of the problems is obviously our economic health is tied to the price of oil, not doing so well these days. But we've got a tax cut also that, that they have to account for. So it doesn't look good.
You think they'll go ahead with that?
Well, the tax cut is scheduled for between 2016 and 2018. One is a 0.25% cut from 5.25 to 5. And it actually takes effect in 2016, and there's a trigger. And if the overall revenues go down, then it doesn't kick in. So I think it's kind of a moot point because the Equalization Board is saying at least $800 million in a shortfall, maybe $1 billion. So I think, and then the next cut is only 0.15%, and that's also had a trigger in it. So, and plus the legislature is not in session until February. So. If they wanted to say we want the cut to go in before that, they couldn't do it in this fiscal year.
I remember, it wasn't that long ago, they were talking about a $600 million shortage.
Right.
And sitting here now knowing what we all know, I'm thinking, boy, that sure sounds good. Wish I could go back to that.
They kind of offset that by what the governor called a 1% cut across the board, although it wasn't across the board. And then they took some money out of the rainy day fund. And then a lot of the agencies, the authorities, boards, the commissions, the ABCs, have a money in the bank,
yes.
And money saved up. And they cut their appropriations according to how much money, not all the money, but some of the money they had in those savings accounts. So we kind of softened the blow there. But now I think what the governor is saying is that prepare for 10 and hope, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty foreboding situation with the budget, and we've already cut a lot of services, and school teachers are not going to get a raise, and so it's concerning to see this continue to happen year after year. But our state budget is tied to the price of oil. It's not doing well, and isn't expected to improve in the near future. So I think it's going to play out the way she's warning people.
There is some talk legislatively of changing the way the oil is taxed at the wellhead, instead of by the price of the barrel of oil, taxed by the number of barrels.
And that I think would go a long way toward forcing folks in Washington to allow us to get into selling oil the way other countries do. And ours is a sweet crude, and others is a dirty crude, so ours would sell much better to other countries,
right, and
still allow our prices to be down. That's a win-win situation.
Charlie made a good point about the revolving accounts. Some of these state agencies have huge money in the bank that they banked, and that needs to be on the table. I think they took some money from the courts last year. That needs to be money that the state has available to use.
I remember when I moved here back in the late 70s, we were witness to oil going down there. When I first got here, you saw Bentleys and Rolls Royce and Mercedes and Jaguars and all that, and that very soon went away. Oil was no longer king, and then all of a sudden we're seeing trucks and jalopies right out of Grapes of Wrath go through with signs on the, hand to God, going through with signs on the side that said "Lost the farm." Remember when we went through that? And it's almost like a cycle because we were told then, I think by a Democratic governor, that we were going to break the chain and not depend on oil. We were going to move more toward technology.
Well, one thing, Jim Bridenstine, the U.S. Congressman, one suggestion he's made is that we open up the doors to exportation of liquefied natural gas, which Europe depends a lot on that from Russia, and that would be a great way to strengthen the dollar, balance our trade, and also, oil was over $100 a barrel almost less than 18 months ago, and now it's like at 46 or something like that. And so you kind of even that out a little bit if we could, because we have a lot of natural gas in Oklahoma, and that would be a great source of revenue.
Be great for us. 1 in 8 people in Oklahoma get royalties. So.
Boy, no kidding.
Yeah. So more more money in their pocket, more money to spend. It would
Who
really
are the
help.
other 5?
Yeah, they're my family.
All right. Let me move to the next topic. There is a doctor in Oklahoma City suggesting legislation that would eliminate exemptions, religious and personal, to vaccinations for public and private students in Oklahoma. Should that be taken seriously? Is it needed? We've had our first report of chickenpox, first time in years.
Measles.
I think it was 18 years popped up. And there's a chance we're going to see more. I mean, I don't want to say chicken, the sky is falling type thing, but.
No, it's a Senator Yin, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Right now, if you go into public school, the vast majority, I think it's over 92% of the kids in the state are vaccinated. Libertarians would say, we're not so sold on vaccinations, but the one argument that even Donald Trump has made is that maybe we shouldn't gang them all up. Maybe we should spread them out a little bit more with the kids because they get, I don't know how many they get, but they get a bunch in a row. So maybe that would be a little more a softer approach.
Yeah, there's actually, I've heard that as well, and it makes sense sort of logically. There's actually no medical proof that will do anything. There's no medical association that vaccines cause autism, and that's the concern. I think it's just sort of where do my rights end and where do yours begin? And I do understand as parents we don't want to be told what to do as far as medical care for our children, but one unvaccinated child, as we've seen in California, can endanger the whole school. So
yeah, and it just spreads like wildfire.
I think.
We're fast running out of time. I wanted to get to the 10 Commandments battle, but let me get to this one first. Do you guys have a passport?
Yes.
We got a 1-year extension on the real ID, which means theoretically I can get into a federal building or get onto an airplane, but I got a passport just to be safe. What in the world is taking so long to get this thing up to speed?
Well, about half the states have passed laws, like Oklahoma has, to say that we don't want to conform to the Real ID Act, including New York City and New York State. And there are concerns about, just federal intrusion, I guess, and also data banks that have biometric information, that there are just a lot of people that are concerned that they don't want a giant computer having all that kind of information.
I just don't want the insurance companies to have it.
I got news for everybody. Giant computers already have our information.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it is a step further to have biometric information. So I think there needs to be adequate safeguards for sure. I just don't want to be in a situation where I can't get on a plane and go, and go.
Well, I
And you're
think
stuck.
I don't think that's
the
going to
political
happen.
reality is I don't think that the Homeland Security is going to stop people. They keep
True.
threatening that, but there's extension after extension after extension.
I don't
Right.
want to take a chance. I don't want to be stuck in Florida.
I don't think they're going to do that, but I think
really don't.
There's worse places to be stuck.
10 Commandment battle has become a political football in the worst possible way. Now they're talking about changing the state constitution. They change that. That opens the door to some other monument. Give me 10 seconds each. Your thoughts.
Well, I think there will be a movement in the next session. There will be some bills introduced, and it'll probably be on the ballot in November of 16 to see whether Oklahomans want to change amend the Constitution.
I don't think it'll pass because I think there's going to be a lot of unintended consequences if it did. I think we'll see that.
We're out of time. Thank you both. Charlie, I'm sorry to put you in my family, but I promise you my wife's a good cook. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining us.